my beautiful wildflowers. How are you today? Alexis here with Modesty. Well, yes, I am sitting on my floor and I'm just gonna pick you up real quick. And what I am doing is I'm going to repot one of my Echeveria succulents. And so I want to go ahead and record it for you, but I have to do it on the floor because I can't do it on my desk. Okay, so anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this a kind of a quick video. Let's see. Yep, kind of sort of in my, like my bombas. Remember my bombas? Can you read it? See, bombas. And look, it's got those little things so I don't slip. So yep. So anyway, before we get started, I want to show you what I'm going to replant. This is my Echeveria, and I did let it dry out a little bit because it came from the store. I mean, drenched. The soil was terrible, and I had to let her dry out. So you see, before I replant her, I have to let her dry out. But the good thing is she was drenched already, so she's been out of the pot for now, about 4 days. And I know, Nisi, you wanted to know how to repot these. And what I do is I usually set it on top. This is empty. I just set it on top to let it kind of dry. But before I do anything, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and soak. Yeah, doesn't make sense, right? Soak her. And what I like to use is this organic clean kelp. And these, you can't overdo these. You really can't. And it is a form of a fertilizer. But yeah, not like the fertilizer, the chemical fertilizers that, you know, you're used to seeing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pour just a teeny tiny bit, you'll see. And it's kind of like, yeah, it looks gross. And as you notice, it's like just a little bit, and you really have to reconstitute it. And this is organic, and sometimes it's like really dark. And this is my little water bottle. I think I'm gonna open it, but no, that's okay, this will work. And this is rainwater that I've collected. And you know what? These things are like gold because, as you know, here in California, we have a drought and we rarely get rain. And I was able to get like 3 mason jars worth. So yeah, but that's about it. And so I just go ahead and do this, and let me see. Yeah, it doesn't smell actually. And this is kelp. And I think there's some places in like Australia, they have the real good one. It's called sea salt, but it's really dark. And so, but this one is not so dark. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna put her in here, just like that. Just let her float, you see? And she's just gonna float in here, and I'm gonna put this aside while I show you a couple of things. Well, usually I would leave her sitting for, yeah, more than, you know, definitely more than a day. But yeah, I think it's okay because she was kind of soaking. But I have to be really careful because I don't know if you notice on these plants, I'm gonna try not to touch her too much, but on top she has these little like a whitish coating, and that's called farina. And farina is a natural protectant for some Echeverias like this. And what that does is it protects the plant from sunburns, and it protects them from certain type of bugs and things like that, and from the elements. So you don't really want to touch them, but it's okay to kind of like soak them like that, and you know, as long as you're not handling them too much. So that's why I like to kind of like lift her really easy. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let her reconstitute right there. And I just want to explain to you that usually I do go ahead and make my own soil, but because my husband bought me in like a pack of this Echeveria Imperial Succulent mix, I'm gonna go ahead and use that. But I will add a couple of more additives to it because usually when I make it, I don't use soil, and I usually use like this bark, like this is a bark, and then I throw in some pumice. And I don't like using perlite, but I rather use like pumice, like this small pumice. And this is actually helps keep the plant aerated, so that way it's not like soil. And you cannot put Echeverias or moose succulents in regular soil because it will just drown and die. And the other thing here, for certain ones, I just made this, and this is actually coconut coir. And what it is, it's from a coconut husk, and it's natural. They come in blocks, and you have to reconstitute them. And this is a little bit moist still, but I did reconstitute it. But I will not be using that today because there is a little bit of that already in this mix. But pretty much, if you look, it's pretty sandy, right? It's pretty sandy, but you know, they use perlite, and I don't care for perlite, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw in a little bit of the pumice along with it. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and start preparing the actual pot, and this one has a drainage in it, and please, if you're going to plant succulents, make sure you have a drainage hole. This one here actually has a hole, but it has a little cap to it, which is nice because once it's all drained, you can cap it back, but you should leave your plants to drain for a while, okay? And now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna see if I can tilt this down a little bit, guys. Okay, yeah, okay, I think we can work here. You know what? I will bring a box so it makes it easier for you guys to see. Ta-da! And what I'm gonna do first is, if I had volcanic rock, I would use volcanic rock, and I have some on order, but it hasn't come yet. But I want to go ahead and put a little bit, just a little bit on the bottom of pumice, and that's just to kind of sort of give it, you know, a bottom so that way it aerates, you know, it drains a lot easier. And like I said, it's really important that you put the right kinds of stuff in with the soil. And like I said, this one's got perlite, but I don't really care for perlite too much, and I don't personally use perlite when I make my own soil, yeah, this, you can tell this is perlite. So I just pour just enough in here, and I'm going to go ahead and mix in, let's see, is that enough? It looks like enough, because I'm going to go ahead and put that aside, and I'm going to grab some pumice. I'm just gonna get a handful and I'm just gonna throw that in here just like that. Whoops, that's okay. And I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit just on top, and as you notice, this is what it's gonna look like. And I think it needs a does it need a little bit more? I think a little bit more, because I really want the succulent to be able to breathe, okay? And if you suffocate their roots with too much water, they will die. They will definitely die. Succulents don't need that much water, but when you do water them, you water them one time and really soak them through, and then you don't water them for about a month or so, depending on where you are and how hot it is, right? In the wintertime, I definitely would not water them more than once a month, as long as they are well hydrated. And the only thing I do is I kind of make a little hole like this, and you don't bury the roots like you would with regular plants. And so what I'm gonna do now is I got the little hole there, and I'm gonna get my plant, and I would like to soak her a little bit longer, but it's okay. She's okay. So you see her roots are wet now, and what I do is I just settle her in here just like that. Just like that. I don't cover her, I don't do any of that. And it's really important that, you know, you just let her go like this, and now she will not be watered for at least a week. At least a minimum of a week, probably a couple of weeks. And then next thing you know, the roots will actually start growing. And so, yeah, but you do want to, what I like to do with these is I like to bottom water because the roots are gonna reach for the water. And so I just like bottom water to about here. I'll put the pot, unplug this, I'll set it in water for about like this for about maybe 15 minutes, and I will completely drain it. I will leave it sit without the cap for a while, and then I usually put it on a baking rack, because that way it's not sitting like this flat on the ground or in the tub or whatever. So I put it in a baking rack so it gives really good drainage. So that's it, simple as that. That's actually done. And yeah, and I just set it aside, and you don't want to put it in direct sunlight because it's just now finished, you know, and she still needs her rest, okay? And next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna repot the sedum. It came in, what I don't like about the sedum, I mean, I love sedums, what I don't like the way they came in, these are packaged in something that gets wet, it holds water a long time. And this is a lot of times stores do this so they don't have to water as much. But yeah, it's not a good idea. And you know what? Oh yeah, I did bring it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly take her out. You see, this is all like, how do they say that? Sebum? Or it's, yeah, it's like coconut coir, you know, it's moss. And all it does is absorb. There's no sand at all here. And so I just want to go ahead and gently, you know, you have to be really careful. I did water her, not that long ago, so she should be okay. And the thing is, imagine how much water this holds in. It's sad because she's got good roots. You see, she's got really good roots. So I don't want to ruin her roots. So I'm going to be really careful when I take her apart. But I'm just going to go ahead and I have to get her out of all of this moss. I mean, this is like really a lot of moss, and she will get root rot. She will definitely get root rot if you're not careful. And the reason why she hasn't is because I didn't water her. I mean, for a while. And then when I did water her, I used I used this instead of soaking this thing here, instead of soaking her down like I would with anything else, because what's in. And so let's see. Yep. She's got some pretty good roots down here. I don't know if you see that right there. She's got very good roots, and I think she'll do okay. But there's a lot she's rooted really well, but now she's separating here, so it's more than one plant. It looks like there's two plants here, two separate plants. And what I usually do sometimes is, like in this case, is like I would dip it in water, and this thing would just fall right off. Okay, and so I want to go ahead and remove all of this as much as possible without destroying the root. Of course, I'm going to take some of the root off. I can't help that. But I do want to go ahead and repot her. And sedums are a little bit different than echeverias. And so you can go ahead and keep them in a medium that's not as sandy, but you still should not have them purely into something like this because it's not going to dry at all. And so I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can take a chance of leaving some of this and then replanting. So, yeah. And let me just go ahead and work on this. Okay, what I'm gonna do with this plant here is I'm gonna go ahead and use a clear, like a square container, and it's got well drainage here. The reason why is because I want to be able to see the roots a little bit, and I'm afraid that if I don't, it's not, because I'm going to leave some of the moss on her. So, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do like I did with the other one, is I'm going to go ahead and add some aeration on the bottom to help aerate. Okay. And okay, I will go ahead, and this one's going to be a little bit different because I do have to put the roots in. It's not like the echeveria I just did here. What is that? It's just like a long thing there. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put this in just a little bit. Okay. And then, and by the way, I'm working on top of a this is like a little thing that my husband bought me, and it's specifically for plants, planting and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little hole there, and I'm going to go ahead and stick her roots and everything in here. And let's see, is that gonna work? Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep the cluster together, but I don't want her out too far. And so I do have my little tools here, and I'm going to use my little shovel. Yeah, I used to wonder, why those little shovels? What good are those? I mean, what could you use it for? Well, now I know. So, but you don't want to fill it up too much, because what happens is if you fill it up too much when you water, it takes, there's a chance it's going to float up, especially the perlite. Perlites will float. That's one thing I don't like about perlite. They do come to the surface, unlike the pumice, which stays down. But yeah, it's okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that and switch hands here, work my left hand. And because it does have a little bit of moss already, normally I would have added a little bit of coconut coir in here for this type, but because it already has a little bit on the root, I'm not gonna do that. And you know what, guys, a lot of this for me is trial and error to see if it works. And I just pray that I don't kill the plants while I'm doing a trial and error. But yeah, it seems to have worked out for me. I mean, let's see, And again, you don't want to, she's already been watered quite a bit. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go ahead and cover the top with some pumice, because I want to give it some stability. Not only that, I have a feeling this perlite's gonna float, and so yeah, I don't want it to float. And so I'm just gonna go ahead. And a lot of times, people use pumice for decorative purposes as well, especially with cacti, when they're planting cacti. They'll go ahead and put it on top to kind of like make it decorative as well. So yeah, and you can do that. I have some volcanic rocks on order, which I like to use instead. You know, not for any other reason than I like volcanic rocks, you know. I mean, it doesn't do anything special, but I do like it. Oh, okay, that's okay. It's hard to do when I'm trying to record at the same time here, guys. Anyway, yeah, there we go. And I know there's a couple of you that asked about how I repot things. And I'll also do a video for you guys on me making some different mixes depending on what plant I'm going to plant. And there's certain plants like houseplants that I wouldn't use, like bark and things like that, but I use, or if I do, it'll be very little. And instead I will use more of the regular soil and then add the additives to it. So, yep, that's it. And hopefully she'll do okay. Again, I will not water her for at least a week or two, and hopefully she will do okay. And yeah, and since the rocks are big, nothing's falling out. That's good. So there she is. Okay, and she is planted. And if her roots starts to grow, and she's got big roots, so I'll start seeing it, and that way she doesn't become root bound. I'll take her out and move her into a bigger container. But now, meanwhile, I am going to move her to a spot where it's not direct sunlight, a little bit, and there you go. And this is, and her name is Rosa, actually, and these are Peanut. That's their name, Peanut and Rosa. And so, yeah, that's that, my beautiful wildflowers. Anyway, let me bring you up so you can see me. Okay. That's it, and it's simple as that. And I know I look kind of odd because I'm trying to look at words that, you know, it's hard on my iPhone. Am I looking at you directly, or am I looking over here, or am I looking over there? So yeah, but anyway, my beautiful wildflowers, I hope you enjoyed it, and please do give me a like if you liked it, and please do subscribe as well if you're interested in such videos. So alrighty, my beautiful wildflowers, I want you to have a good day, a good night, a good week, or good weekend. It doesn't matter when you're watching this, but what does matter is in a field of roses, be a wildflower and never sweat the small stuff. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Alright guys, I'm trying to hold this and my arms are going on muscle failure. It's probably going like this, right? Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, my stuff is back there, and look here. I mean, things are still going. My room is a heck of a mess because right now I'm trying to, I don't know what I'm trying to do. Okay? But anyway, so that was my plant video, and I know I'm doing a lot of plant videos, but I'm getting kind of requests for that. I will do makeup videos too. It's like it's evolving, okay? So let me know what you want, so that way I can give you what you want. All right? Okay? Alrighty. Bye! Love you all. Wait a minute, I was supposed to say bye after that. Okay, I'm gonna say it again.